Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. On the banks of the Allegheny, we kick off a 9-game, 10-day road trip here in Pittsburgh. PNC Park, it's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. With Scott Warman and the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Should be a fun stretch of games beginning tonight. Two teams that are tied in the standings, identical records, looking at still being in the race in the Central, maybe the wild card, and the pitching matchup tonight. John Gant for the Cardinals. Should be a lot of fun. Chris Archer for the Pirates.
Yeah, Chris Archer, they just acquired him from Tampa Bay, and here's a young man, 29 years of age, but he is a strikeout pitcher. Matter of fact, the last 3 years, he's had over 200 strikeouts each year, and he's doing the same thing. He's featured and known for his great slider. He throws it almost 45% of the time. Some people think that is too much, but he does have a good fastball also.
He is fired up. The city is fired up about Chris Archer. The Cardinals, they're fired up about the National League Player of the Month, Matt Carpenter. He leads it off when we come back. Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Dare I say, no rain in the forecast in Pittsburgh. Knock on wood. Al Raboski, Scott Warman, Dan McLaughlin with you. 80 degrees, muggy today, but some excitement around the city with the debut of Chris Archer and some excitement around that team as well. Cardinals coming off their best homestand of the year, taking 2 of 3 against the Cubs. And an exciting fashion of baseball under Mike Schilt. and winning 3 of 4 against Colorado. The starter for the Pirates, his debut in Pittsburgh, it's Chris Archer.
You can see his numbers right here. Still gets a lot of strikeouts. He missed about close to a month of the season with an abdominal strain in June. Got off to a real slow start. Basically, he is a slider fastball pitcher. He'll throw the changeup, and that's a pitch he's been working on more this year to the left-handed batters. But it seems like instead of really hitting spots, he throws his fastball down the middle of the plate, and then he tries to get you to chase either the slider or the changeup off the plate.
The Cardinals lineup at the top, the National League Player of the Month, Matt Carpenter, then Yadier Molina, Paul DeJong, Marcell Ozuna, Tyler O'Neill made 2 terrific catches in the game last night, had a sac fly as well. Jed Jerko, the switch hitting Dexter Fowler, Jairo Munoz at second base. Cardinals hoping that Colton Wong will rejoin the club this weekend, and the pitcher John Gant batting ninth. You talk about winning a press conference as a pro athlete. Chris Archer did that when he wore a Steelers jersey to his press conference. That's how you win at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, his mother's a big Steeler fan. His dad was a bricklayer. Says, I'm a blue-collar pitcher, and that's what this Steel City is.
Fans have bought into Clint Hurdle. He turned the losing around with this franchise, got them to postseason play. They had a remarkable run this year. They said, hey, why not? We go for it. They go out and get Archer and also a very good bullpen piece, too.
And it's kind of interesting. Over the winter, they got rid of McCutchen, who was their icon position player, and then Garrett Cole, their best pitcher. And then at the trade deadline, they go out and get Archer and also a closer from Texas.
So here we go.
Here we go.
And the first pitch, a ball to Matt Carpenter, who's batting .279. He's popped 26 home runs, and he's driven in 57. Really was, though, Al, as we were talking about it off the air, a steep price to pay to get Chris Archer.
No doubt about it. And a lot of people think they're moving all in on these 2 moves, but it's also for the future because he has a very team-friendly contract for the next 3 years. And also the closer's got 2 more years. So they're playing for the future also.
Carpenter with a drive out to deep right center. At the wall, it is gone. Leadoff home run. The 23rd time he's done that in his career to continue the all-time record for leadoff homers in St. Louis history. Carpenter with number 27, 1-0 Cardinals.
And also franchise record, that's the 8th leadoff home run of the year. And there's no doubt about it. This kind of stuns the Pittsburgh crowd. And we were talking about how it's really nice to see them get a bump from Archer. But this Cardinal team right now is playing with a lot more intensity, a lot more fun. It's really fun to watch the way they're playing.
How about the way that guy's swinging the bat?
He looks like he wants to win the August National League Player of the Month.
He broke the all-time record against Colorado, who's tied with Lou Brock, and now it's 23 and counting, most leadoff home runs in franchise history as Molina hits it out to right, backing up Polanco for the out.
Archer throws the pitch. Looks like it's in the middle of the plate, gets his arms extended, drives it out there. You know, Archer was in a real small ballpark there in Tampa Bay. This one's a little more fair, but the result there, first batter you face in the National League, just a home run.
Kind of takes the wind out of the sails of the fans here.
We were commenting, it is nice to see they have gotten a bump in attendance, you know, just from him coming out to the ballpark, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, the same old Pirates.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, and he hits DeJong. So with 1 out, DeJong at first base, and it brings in Marcell Ozuna. They had a big walk-up to tonight's game at the gate. You could see that with the black and gold, the yellow in the seats here at PNC Park, and Marcell Ozuna the batter.
There's no doubt about it. Also, these moves were made because they're going to be negotiating a new television contract after this year. And they're trying to get a little bump in the ratings.
So with one out and a runner at first, let's pull to Young. And ball one to Marcell Ozuna. The Cardinals against Colorado in those 4 games, Mike Shildt was busy. Hit and runs, straight steals, bunts. Now part of that was due to the fact that some guys are slower to the plate than others as Ozuna pops it up. The speed factor and various issues that come into play, and that catch made by David Freese. And swing and miss pitchers too. You know, you could be protected by the guy at the plate. So we'll see if they continue with that over the weekend and what kind of tells the Pirates will give them.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that Bader and O'Neill have put a little energy in this lineup. David Freese over there at first base. Archer, the traffic cop.
Just catch the ball, will you? Here's Tyler O'Neill. Made 2 great catches.
Which one did you think was the tougher one?
I thought the diving one on the line.
I did too, and they said that the first one had a 5% chance of catching that one, the first batter of the game. And that was a 5-star catch. The diving one, which I thought was like a 34%, and they said that was, you know, a 4-star. That's supposedly the 5-star play. This one, look at this. You know, you dive in, your concentration, you're laying out. You got to contend with that stands jettisoning towards the playing field. Both of them sensational.
That foul ball, by the way, lined into the dugout of the Cardinals, and Mike Shildt just put on Yadier Molina's helmet and gave it back to Yadi. And you may remember the last time we were here, he had a line drive hit off his head as the bench coach.
That's right.
And then had to go to the hospital. So he borrowed Yadi's mask and helmet for a pitch. Here's a 1-2. The check swing, he did go. So the first strikeout for Archer as a Pirate. But Matt Carpenter with home run number 27. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Nice start to the series and the road trip, and a long one off the bat of Carp. Cardinals after a half inning. On the mound for St. Louis, the right-hander John Gant. He has been in the bullpen and now in the rotation with all the injuries the Cardinals have sustained. So be his 16th appearance and start number 9. He's done a very nice job.
Yeah, you forget about too. He'll turn 26 next week, but he really has done a good job and very tough on the right-handed batters. This Hyundai pitch arsenal.
As Frazier rips it under the glove of Carpenter into the corner and right, dug out by Fowler. Leadoff double by Adam Frazier.
You want to get ahead in the count, so you come in here, doesn't get it far enough inside, beyond the reach of Carpenter down in the corner. So they're trying to respond to Carpenter's home run with a double by their leadoff man.
In steps Starling Marte, 25 steals this year. Got good power as well with 16 home runs and batting .287. And the first pitch is strike.
Suspension a year ago really kind of really hurt their team, their psyche. But he is a very good player now. That's where I said the one thing about Gant is very tough. Limited 200 average. Right-handed batters.
The 0-1 fouled back, 0-2. Pirates are missing some big bats in their lineup, but still very good. Frazier, Marte, Polanco, David Freese batting cleanup. Moran, Cervelli, Harrison, Mercer, and Archer out. Josh Bell, oblique strain. Dickerson, a hamstring injury. So Josh Bell, one of the top rookies a year ago, not in the lineup.
That's why Freese is playing first base.
Slowly hit up the third base line. Gant, tough play, and the pick by Carpenter for the out. Marte's speed, boy, he gets down the line, and the Pirates take a long look at it. And it looks like they will challenge here in the first inning.
Hey, you talk about, speed and power. It's tough to defend against it. Gant did everything he could, but we'll see who wins the foot race. Frazier did go to third on the play. And boy, won't take long.
Crew chief, by the way, is Ted Barrett. And it looks like Marte did beat it out. And if it is overturned, it'll be first and third, nobody out for Polanco.
Oh, you would think in the first inning you make a play, you're pretty well assured that you're going to get it right. Well, Gant's going to have to pitch out of a little jam here. Another injured player that you haven't talked about is Gunn.
And he's done for the year. He broke his wrist trying to come back and play for the Pirates this season. Jung Ho Gunn.
But it's been a couple years since we've seen him, and boy, he was a Cardinal killer.
Hit big numbers against the Cardinals. Here's Gregory Polanco. He's batting .252 with 19 homers. Carpenter holding at first, the outfield shading him to pull. This is where the speed of Marte comes into play, and a team that's rolling, playing with confidence. You're at home, and Clint Hurdle can be aggressive. Cardinals have held Polanco in check this year, but we know that could change very quickly. The first pitch to him.
And you can see where Mike Shield's playing for the double play ball. As a pitcher, you get that guy on getting third base and nobody out. Don't even try and make perfect pitches to keep him from scoring. You have a tendency, if you do that, you're going to walk people, you're going to open up a big inning. So just almost assume that he's going to probably score. Just go after the batter, try and get that ground ball double play, and just keep it to a single number.
A 1-0 pitch. Drilled out to deep right. It is off the wall. 2 runs will score. Polanco to third. And it's a 2-1 Pirates lead.
Munoz got the relay and threw home. He had no chance to get that man out. His only chance he was going to have is throw to third base and get Polanco. Ball up out over the plate. He's got 19 home runs. You can see Fowler plays for the carom, comes off the wall, and first three batters have had a little fun today, but now you pull the infield in, and David Freese, who's always hit left-handed pitching very well, this year he's hitting right-handers better.
And the first pitch drops in for a strike. You know, Fowler, I think, was expecting that to jump off the fence a little bit more than it did. And you have to remember it's a chain link fence in right, to where when the ball hits the fence, it's going to deaden. The 0-1 pitch to David Freese.
It hits probably on the scoreboard where you got that chain link, but you got a wall behind it. It probably caroms out further, but if it gets up on the area where there's seats and it's just the screen, nothing behind it, then that's the one that falls down and you can't get to it as quickly, or you have to go in and get it.
Infield in, and a 1-1. Hit sharply to short, taken there by DeYoung for the out. It brings in Colin Moran, who's hitting .313 at home and over 400 average in his last 9 games. .268 the average overall with 8 homers. Francisco Cervelli at the on-deck circle. And strike one by Gant.
That good changeup he has. Vulcan changeup.
A lot of times it looks like a strike and just drops way out of the zone. Last pitched on Sunday against Chicago. Gave the Cardinals a chance to win. And the 0-1 pitch. Fly ball out to Ozuna. He'll make the catch. His throw to the plate not in time. It's cut off. And it's a 3-1 Pirates lead. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, O'Neill, and Fowler in the Cardinal outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Munoz, and Carpenter along the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Francisco Cervelli. He's got 10 home runs. That's a career high. And he's driven in 9 this season against the Cardinals. Batting .391 against St. Louis pitching this year. Strike one.
He's done a real nice job for the Pirates. When they lost Russell Martin, you kind of thought that, you know, they were losing a big part of their offense and a big part of their pitching staff. And Cervelli's done a good job both ways.
That is only the 13th pitch of the inning. And there's already 3 runs scored and 2 outs recorded. I think 3 runs in an inning, it's much bigger than just 13 pitches.
Sure. Throwing strikes.
And the 1-1. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
I said change up earlier, and that was like that pitch is the curveball. We're up so high, barely see.
Hit on the ground to short. Paul DeYoung makes the play. The triple to drive in 2 by Polanco. Sac fly by Moran. Coming up for the Cardinals, Jerko, Fowler, Munoz. It's 3-1. Park in Pittsburgh. Well, we talked about it. Our key to the game, presented by Toyota, tamed the excitement of the crowd and Chris Archer.
Well, we tamed it with Carpenter's home run, but then he got the crowd back into it with the 3 runs that the Pirates got. Cardinals have played very well against the Pirates at home, but they've had trouble this year here. They're 5-5 in the series, and both teams have identical records. They're tied for 3rd in the National League Central.
There's Jed Jerko. 3 infielders on the left side, and a strike. A lot of turmoil this past offseason with the Pirates. As Al mentioned, McCutchen goes to San Francisco. The face of the franchise and the turnaround here with the Pirates. Garrett Cole going to Houston. And not many times has Clint Hurdle seen his club be the recipient of the veteran and giving up young talent. So that's why there's a lot of buzz about this move with Archer. There's already an Archer jersey in the crowd. Pirates are 16-5 since the middle of July, and that's the best record in all of baseball.
Well, they won 11 straight during that time, and Dan, we're so used to saying, no matter where the Cardinals are, but we're used to saying that they have the best record in the Central Division. This year, the Cardinals have the 2nd best record. They're 7 games over 500 in the Central, but the Pirates have the best 10 games over.
27-17, and a leadoff walk. And the tying run comes to the plate in Dexter Fowler. So they're excited about it. Chris Archer here in Pittsburgh.
He's got such a magnificent personality. You know, very, very, says all the right things, does the right things, big smile. Was so excited about getting traded. Everything was black and gold, black and gold.
The strike to Fowler. And I got to wonder if Fowler gets to that ball, the bottom of the 1st, if Polanco is at second base and it's not a triple.
Nice. Take 1 run off the board. It's a 2-1 game.
And the 0-1.
You know, Archer's had his problems this year. You know, we said that he struck out 200 plus. I think it's actually 230. The last 3 years he struck out 230 or more.
Fowler, base hit into right. Jerko stops at second base. Very good arm by Polanco in right field. Ball was stung by Dexter, and the first 2 have reached. The Pirates defensively around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Frazier, Marte, Polanco in the outfield. Moran, Mercer, Harrison, Freeze on the infield. Cervelli behind the plate. Second Cardinal hit, and it brings in Jairo Munoz.
One of the things about Archer, and I was talking with coaches about it, Chad Blair, you know, he'll throw a lot of fastballs, and it's 92 to 96. And we talked about all the sliders he throws, but he tries to get you to chase that. And yet he throws the fastball pretty much in the middle of the plate. He doesn't try to go in or out. You know, we know the Pirates always have a, you know, in a race surge, they all want to pitch in, and very effectively. But Ray's not going to let him pitch his own game for a while.
Mention the name of Chad Blair. He's the video coach of the Cardinals.
Right. And I was kind of wondering if, you know, if you were patient. He doesn't walk a whole lot, but are you patient to where, you know, you throw that slider, and there's a good one, and he throws it 40% of the time to these right-handed batters. It's a little over 40%. That some of them gets underneath, some of them are real good, but a lot of them are balls.
Down the right field line, fair, off the sidewall. 1 run is in. Fowler held up at third. It's a double for Munoz. And that makes it a 3-2 Pittsburgh lead.
How good has Munoz been? And not only with the average over 300 with the playing time, but he's been driving in runs. And here he gets a slider, and really good piece of hitting. Didn't try to do too much with it, just tried to use his hands and shoot it to right field, and Cardinals catch a break because that sidewall where it came off, it bounced to hit it and kicked back towards the infield, and that's why it took Polanco so long to get to it.
And so Munoz, who's at second base tonight with the double, runners at second and third. John Gant is 0 for 16 this year. He does have 2 sacked bunts. He struck out 5 times. Infield is drawn in. And a swing and a miss.
Here in a situation with both runners in scoring position, you just really try and put the ball on play. You know, hopefully you can maybe shoot it to the right side. You know, they got the right side and the infield in, trying to play for the play at the plate. Maybe you can just loop it, hit a nice little fly ball, and get an RBI.
Gant pops it up behind home plate. And it's 0-2. Archer got that football jersey in the airport. He arrived in Pittsburgh. Fans that are from the town knew who he was, heard about the trade, gave him an ovation through the airport. And Gant strikes out, number 2 tonight for Archer. But a lot of excitement around his arrival. And thus far he's given up a couple of runs and maybe more here in this second inning as Carpenter digs in, and he's already homered. It was the 8th leadoff homer for Carpenter this season. Cardinals are 4-3 when he leads off a game with a home run.
Just 4-3. Huh?
It's a bit surprising.
Yeah.
And ball 1 to Matt.
But you lead off, there's a lot of game left, so a lot of things can happen. Archer, a 2-time All-Star in the American League. One of the best young pitchers a couple of years ago, but when you told me, and I see it now, that he has not won since April 26th. And that was at Boston. He pitched 5 1/3 innings. He gave up 11 hits, 4 earned runs.
Want to know the count on Carpenter? His home run was number 27 of the year. The way things have gone, if the Cardinals can somehow get into postseason play or even close to it, this is the reason why, one of them. And they're going to intentionally walk Carpenter here and load him up, but he's now in the conversation, my point, of being the MVP of the league.
No doubt. You know, I think his OPS coming in was like 960. And he was batting 140 in May 15th.
So the intentional walk, and Clint Hurdle's thinking maybe double play.
Now, if you get a ground ball, they got a good chance with Yachty running, but Yachty rises to occasion, doesn't he?
Strike on the inside corner. He has a knack of these spots of coming through. We'll see if he does here. Fly to right, first time up. It's grounded into 8 double plays this season. Foul back, 0-2. 96 on the gun there from Archer. Now he's busted him in twice inside. You think about the slider, and that pitch could get Molina to roll over and get a ground ball.
But you know, the interesting thing about him is yeah, some pitches will end up inside, but pretty much he tries to throw it down the middle, and his fastball is pretty straight. That's one of the reasons why Ray Surge, thinking forward, is going to try and work with him after he kind of sees him for a while about working on a sinker.
And the 0-2 in the dirt. Good play by Cervelli.
And this is when you also, you know, when he has you in this situation, he's going to try and get you to throw that slider. And he throws it so often, some he'll get underneath it, some frisbee, some he'll bury it. Other times it's just, you know, has tremendous drop to it.
That's why then Fowler's got to get down the line.
Yeah.
ball could get away and score a run.
And you could see where the third baseman's playing. He could get a really good come down the line, get back easily.
Molina fouled it back. Molina with the bases loaded this year, 3 for 10 in his career, 5 grand slams. Watch out.
There's so much information available where Yachty knows that when he's ahead in the count, a lot of times he'll throw that slider, high percentage.
Puts it in play, but it hit the bat.
Twice.
Sure did. Yachty in the batter's box when that took place.
He's reaching for the slider, so he's off balance way out in front. And then it comes back up. That's pretty close too.
Clint Hurdle's going to say, now wait a minute, that should be an out, and then the runners return.
But I think you can say your back foot's in the batter's box. Is what a home umpire Lance Barksdale is saying.
Now if he's out of the box, then the Cardinals are in trouble.
Right.
264 with runners in scoring position this year for Molina. Sometimes you'll see Yachty even expand the zone in a good way to get the ball in the air and elevate it in these spots. It's another 1-2. Good play by Cervelli. And that's what I'm talking about, Al. Fowler has got to get more down the line. Moran is not even close to the bag at third.
Well, you know, Kendo was reminding him, saying, you know, he will tell those guys, runners at second out there, you know, Munoz get a bigger lead, but you can tell it right there to Fowler, just keep on going.
The 2-2. Bases loaded, 3-2 the count on Yadier Molina. What do you think? He's got to come with a fastball.
The way he pitches, probably another slider.
The 3-2 pitch. Struck him out.
Slider.
And now it's up to Paul DeYoung, who was hit by a pitch back in the first inning.
I'm sure Yachty in some ways is saying, okay, I'm looking for something down. And that ball stays up, but it was just high and away from him, beyond his reach, but not really the slider that you want to be throwing. That should, you know, you hit that ball, you got a sac fly at the very least.
This season, the Cardinals shortstop 0 for 5 with the bases loaded. Still looking for that first career grand slam. And ball 1.
You can see how a lot of people think that he probably throws too many sliders. You know, Colton just got here. He played last night in Peoria on a rehab. Then he went back to St. Louis to have to be checked out by the doctors, got the clearance, and then flew in tonight and just arrived.
2 balls, no strikes.
Probably will be activated tomorrow.
A chance here for DeYoung. Bases loaded. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Went with a slider. So he seems to be comfortable enough to throw that at any time in the count.
Oh yeah. And you know, I mean, that's been his bread and butter pitch, even though he's got a good fastball, but hitters are hitting over 300 against it. And like I said, he doesn't spot it as well as you would think he would.
27th pitch of the inning right here. 3-1.
It's kind of these hitters that if it goes inside, it's not by design. You know, he's just trying to throw a strike with it. And I'm sure Ray Surge has already seen enough to say, okay, I want to teach you a sinker. I want to teach you how to pitch inside, and we want to back off to more fastballs than all the sliders you throw.
A 3-1 pitch to DeYoung. Slider again.
Yep. Looked like he was up in the zone.
On their feet here at PNC. Runners off with the pitch. Struck him out. Jairo Munoz, a double hit down the right field line. And it brings in Jed Jerko. And it cuts a lead to 3-2 midway through 2 here in Pittsburgh.
Trail it by 1. We see Tyler O'Neill in center field. It's his second start in center field since being activated on Tuesday. Talked to Tyler for a while today, and O'Neill told me that during his time with the Mariners, he never played center field, but when he was traded to the Cardinals, he got a little bit of time in Memphis, but not a lot because Oscar Mercado, who was just traded, was their regular center fielder. And Danny told me there's a few things that you different from center field from the corner outfielders. Obviously a lot more territory to cover. He also said that he can pick up balls a lot better being in center field once they come off the bat than he does the corner outfield positions.
And one thing, Al, when you look at O'Neill, this is Harrison at the plate. Clearly the body stands out. He's a big guy. He's extremely strong. But you don't realize how well he runs for his size.
Yeah, you would think with the big barrel chested and how strong he is that he wouldn't be able to run. It'd be too muscle bound, and that's not the case. He runs very well. His father was Mr. Canada, bodybuilder. I know his dad was, the first time he was called up, his dad, family and friends were in town.
That's a strikeout of Harrison, and the first of the night for John Gant.
You get Harrison, who's a really good ball player, and then you see that changeup and see how much drop it has to it. Make him look a little silly going after a pitch. I think we'll see a different John Gant now, for just kind of settle in now, and just things kind of snowballed there with the first 3 hitters.
And a strike to Jordy Mercer. Mercer kind of a quiet mainstay.
He really is. He's just a consistent ball player, not flashy at all, but makes the plays, provides a little offense, and he'd be one of the candidates. I think he's a free agent after this year, and a guy that some people would thought might have been traded at the deadline, along with Harrison.
There's a 1-1 pitch. It's such a long year, but it's funny how a long winning streak can turn maybe how you look at your team, turn it around. And the Pirates got back in the race, and the Pirates and Cardinals just 4 back in the wild card. And as we've seen, just get in and anything can happen.
Oh, that's right. Griffey Jr. and A-Rod and all those guys in Seattle went to win 116 games and then got beat in the first round. Cardinals win 83 and end up being world champions.
So there was 6 and 11. They got in on the final night with a win over Houston. An Atlanta loss. Then beat the Phillies. Were highly favored. There's another strikeout on the changeup. Milwaukee, they were favored. And then Texas, and they were favored. Just get in. MLB.TV is now available at a lower price. $59.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. I would imagine that most pitchers, Al, that come from the American League to the National League look forward to this, facing a pitcher and also hitting.
Until you find out that he's 2 for 28.
One of those hits against the Cardinals, by the way.
But you're right. I mean, because really you think about it, most guys were probably stars. The pitchers weren't stars on their team. Played a position growing up.
Trying to bunt, pushed it foul, and it's 1-2.
That's one thing I give Tony La Russa a lot of credit. I mean, one of many things I give him credit for. But when he came to the National League and said, well, the pitchers hit in this league, and started allocating so much time. You know, every day the Cardinal starters hit. And you should be able to win a couple games, help yourself win a couple games with your bat, whether bunting or putting the ball in play.
He strikes out the side. Gets Harrison, Mercer, and Archer coming up for the Cardinals. Ozuna, O'Neill, and Jerko. 3-2. Hall of Fame inductees during Hall of Fame weekend, August 17th through the 19th, presented by Edward Jones. August 18th, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a mystery baseball cap honoring one of the fan vote inductees, Vince Coleman or Ray Langford, courtesy of Edward Jones. And tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. We head to the third inning and Chris Archer's Pirates debut. Ozuna, O'Neill, and Jerko in a 3-2 score. Marcell Ozuna, a key drive to success against Pittsburgh in his last 10 games. A couple of home runs and has driven in 9. 14 for 33.
His career has been over 300 against the Pirates. I would think Archer's he's over 50 pitches in the first couple innings.
And a breaking pitch misses low. It's pitch number 43, so right around there. Ozuna popped out to David Freese, first time up. Mentioned it on the pregame show for those that had not tuned in. I wanted to get your impressions on Mike Shildt, the way things have gone.
I've seen during the course of games, it seems like there's a lot more energy. Obviously, the club has played it, a more aggressive running style. I liked how he's used his bullpen. I liked how at times how quick a hook he's had. And having, of course, he had personnel down there with the young starters from Memphis. He could do that. But I was very impressed the other day when it was the Weaver start. And remember, he did what, 2 1/3 innings or something.
2
like that.
2/3, and he had runners at second and third.
And he brought in Ponce de Leon. And well, after the game, Ponce de Leon said, Mike Shildt talked to me and told me the game plan, and so he was not surprised at all to be ready to go into that game that early. I think we've seen a lot of guys working, some of the veteran guys working more before games, but it just sort of seems like the entire energy level is up.
It's a really good homestand. There's Daniel Ponce de Leon. I think it's also for fans to hear Mike after or before games explain himself is something that they appreciate.
Very much so.
Very transparent in what he's doing. Ozuna whacks it out to deep left field. One hop off the wall and Marcell on his way to second base. And my point always with that has been, you can agree or disagree with the manager. I mean, we all have opinions on what you should do in a game of this type of strategy. But to hear his explanation and then say, okay, makes some sense. I'm with it. It's okay.
Hanging breaking ball here, and Ozuna makes him pay for it. Yeah, I think too, Dan, when there's open communication with everyone, obviously a manager can't tell us everything, but there's certain times he can tell us things that we can help us explain as to why you're not using a certain person in a certain situation. And it's just, I mean, it's his ball club. You're the first one to say that he had a trademark in the minor leagues being very aggressive, and that is definitely a true statement.
1 ball, 1 strike on O'Neill. There was a feeling at the ballpark the last 2 days in which fans were, I don't know if edge of their seats is the right way to describe it, but there was a sense of, this is fun, this is entertainment, this is movement, this is activity.
Well, you have the young kids. Obviously O'Neill and Bader got speed. They had 3 steals in a game. And that happened back in April, and it happened to be the same 3. It was Bader, O'Neill, and Carpenter. The same that stole the bases the other night. But
I mean, you think about the move in the 9th inning yesterday, 1st and 3rd, down by a run, and he steals Bader. That's a gutsy move.
Yeah, but he also explains to you that we thought it would work. It was a good situation there. If it doesn't work, so what? We're going for it. That was the one thing, and Mike Matheny would say, you guys would be surprised if you knew how many times guys had the green light but wouldn't go.
One ball and 2 strikes. Tyler O'Neill. And I think that not only do the fans feed off it, but certainly the players.
Well, I'm going to say this. You know, we played the game, doing the broadcast a long time, but I was actually getting a little concerned about baseball with what I was seeing. A game where it was strikeouts and home runs and nothing in between. I mean, it was getting to be a boring game. So getting back to that running game, manufacturing runs, doing these things, I think this is what Cardinal baseball's about.
Strikeout of O'Neill. That's 5 tonight for Archer. Here's yesterday, if you missed it, day baseball. Bader, a pitch that he takes to right after the base hit by Garcia. So first and third, 1 out, down by a run. Martinez at the plate. Bader stealing second. And then Martinez, the game winner.
And, you know, if he doesn't steal second, we're still playing that game, you know, because it's tied. But by the fact of stealing there, he comes and scores the winning run.
Now Jed Jerko, and he sends it out to deep right field down the line, but out of play. The other thing I'll say too is Al, we're in a great baseball town, if not the best, and fans are bright about the game, and so they want to hear the explanations. They want to hear why a manager does what he does.
I thought Tony La Russa, remember, it took him a while for the fans to warm up to Tony, and I thought when Tony started doing the Sunday morning show on radio is when people said, hey, you know, I'm enjoying hearing what his thought process is.
So the ground out and advancing on the play, Ozuna from second to third, and it brings in Fowler, who's single to right. Every manager is different. You manage differently. You deal with media differently. You deal with your players differently. And we'll see what Mike can do in the final couple of months of this regular season. Strike one on Fowler. A shift on the right side of the infield. Again, another opportunity for the Cardinals. They've stranded 4 in the first 2 innings. A fastball inside. StatCast AI powered by AWS. Doesn't go to left field all that much from this side of the plate. It could certainly drop down a bunt. Something we talked about in the game yesterday, where teams are shifting on this side of the plate with Fowler and the third baseman Moran way back. I mean, you think about the bunt. Now Archer is a good athlete, fields his position well, but it's something to think about.
Well, and it should be part of his game. You know, remember, he was always a leadoff hitter. Now it seems like he's, you know, getting underneath more balls and hitting more fly balls. Last year he had the career high home runs and RBIs when he moved out of the leadoff spot, but you use all the field, you're a much better player.
2-2. Looked like he may have tried to go that way.
Well, I hope so, because they were setting up a way. You know, I mean, they tried, that pitch was supposed to be away. It just was up a little bit and beat him with it. So watch, set up away. Archer hits the spot, but you know, it's 96, a little bit overpowering him up.
The 2-2 missed in.
See, just a little far inside, but he wanted it.
3-2 pitch to Dexter Fowler. 6 strikeouts for Archer, and the Cardinals have left 5 on. The Nationals and Bryce Harper on August 13th through the 16th. $5 tickets now at cardinals.com/community coffee. Who do you think he's cheering for? Pirates cap, Cardinals shirt.
I got your point. Pre-game pass.
And he goes home happy one way or another. Base hit into right. Adam Frazier is 2 for 2 with a single and a double.
Came in hitting .320 against Cardinal pitching. Add to that now.
You know, we had the shot of that gentleman with the hat and the shirt. Pittsburgh and St. Louis. The young lady to his right wearing a K Cancer t-shirt, which was started by Jason Mott, and now you see those shirts all over the country. Every team is represented with their team colors.
Backwards K. Caught looking.
And Jason has signed on to be a coach at Memphis.
That's good. He'll help those young kids there.
He's to be commended, though, with what he's done with the K Cancer and the Jason Mott Foundation. It's done an awful lot for so many people.
How he and his wife have really taken interest in so many kids, and just really made a difference with them. And as you say, that the foundation he started, guys around the league have all started. They got the K's when their colors.
We check on Frazier. Three to 2 our score. Marte had an infield hit first time up. And the 0-1 pitch. Good pitch in on his hands, and it's fouled back. Now, Al, the fans here, I've seen one catch with a glove, the other one barehanded, and they're 2 for 2 in foul balls. So they're fired up and playing good defense.
Playing good defense. Trying to help out. Just good to see a crowd here.
I agree. May change in a month or two if they're out of the race and with football. But if they stay in it, they draw. And a base hit out to left. Frazier to second. No run on Ozuna. His throw will go to second, and it's not in time. It's a double for Marte. Well, teams know that Ozuna is not throwing the ball well this year. They're going to take the extra base.
Yeah, Gold Glover a year ago, but ever since spring training, we've seen that he just doesn't have the same arm speed and arm strength. And there's times like this he'll try and get it back in as quick as possible, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't have the arm strength.
So runners at second and third. And here's Polanco, who tripled. That drove in 2 back in the first. A 1-run lead for the Pirates and trying to add on. In front, and strike one. Here's the triple by Polanco, and what we're talking about with Fowler, whether he thought this was going to jettison off somewhere else or not, or thought it was a home run, but it took him a little bit, a few extra steps to get to that ball, and in doing so, with the speed of Polanco, he winds up at third.
And also, I thought Munoz should have thrown to third. I don't think he had any chance to get Marte with his speed. The only chance he had was to throw it to third and possibly get Polanco.
And the 0-1 pitch now to Gregory Polanco. 0-2. Gant has to pitch out of this jam here in the bottom of the third.
And the left-handed batters have been troublesome to him, and Marte. Frazier's 2 for 2. Polanco 1 for 1. Moran got the sac fly. And it's been really tough this season on right-handed batters. They're just batting 200 against him.
With his changeup, does that surprise you, the lack of success against the lefties?
A little bit, because the changeup you would think would be so devastating. And then I've read some reports too where on left-handed batters how his fastball, they don't hit his fastball either. But sometimes you're spotting it, you got your pinpoint control.
1-2 the count here.
Left-handed batters, lefties are batting just 182 against his fastball.
And a ground ball rolling foul. Cardinals had some roster moves today. Left-handed pitcher Tyler Lyons cleared outright waivers and outrighted to AAA Memphis. Right-handed pitcher Greg Holland cleared release waivers, and he's gone.
Tyler's been with the organization a long time, and nobody picked him up, and so he stays in the Cardinal organization. I think we're happy about that.
That's Will Mozeliak on the right, John's son on John there on the left. Just got a piece.
So Will's got his own credentials.
Well, Will looks to be a future GM.
Oh yeah,
he's got the look. John, the president of baseball operations for the Cardinals.
He's not giving anything away, is he?
And the 1-2 pitch to Gregory Polanco inside. So started 0-2, now 2-2. The pitch count a total of 40. Outfield deep and straight away. And a high fly ball. It's Frazier, your runner at third. Catch made by O'Neill, and wisely the throw going into third base. Run scores. 4-2 Pittsburgh.
I mean, at his depth, there's no chance he's going to throw out Frazier with good speed at home plate. Hit a ball 300 feet, and he's much deeper than that. Get your weight behind it, come in. Looked like he was thinking about home, and then he kind of altered it through to third base, and that's why it was a little bit offline. But if you get rid of it quickly, you'll stop a base runner.
David Freese had a runner at third, nobody out back in the first, and grounded to short with the infield in. Marte, your runner at second base. Since July 1st, Kubota power stats, good numbers for David Freese.
Like I said, there, talked to Clint Hurdle, and he said he's really hitting right-handed pitching much better this year.
And that pitch a bit low and outside. Lance Barksdale is our home plate umpire. Ted Barrett down at first, the crew chief, Will Little at second, Ben May over at third. His ability to go to right field is good as anybody, and he taps that one up the third base line foul. He's made a living with base hits to right.
And that's why he always hit lefties so well. Easy for a left-hander to throw outside to a right-handed batter.
Hits by direction for David Freese. So better to left, but still going to right an awful lot.
You think about it, up the middle, big part of the field.
The 1-1 pitch to David Freese. Instead, another check on the runner at second base, Starling Marte.
You mentioned Marte's got 25 steals.
The 1-1. Sun setting here in Pittsburgh. A gorgeous evening on the banks of the Allegheny. You can see the reflection, the sun on the building across the way. What a setting.
For our viewpoint, it's so beautiful. Third ballpark that I've seen here in Pittsburgh.
2-1 is hit to second. Munoz will go to first for the out. There's two down, and the batter will be Colin Moran.
And played in Forbes Field. And at Forbes Field, if you were a pitcher and got knocked out of the game, visiting players were on the third base side, you would have to go into the dugout of the Pirates to go down through what they called the dungeon and get to the clubhouses.
That's uncomfortable.
Especially if you had a little throwing incident with somebody. There's sometimes be 4 or 5 sluggers waiting for you when you came out of that.
I bet. There's Colin Moran. He used to tell me that if you had to use the restroom at Dodger Stadium, you're standing in line with the fans.
The entire time, if you went out the back door at Dodger Stadium, you walk across the concrete to go to the restroom with the right field bleacher
with
fans.
your spikes on.
With your spikes on, tippy-toeing.
Did you get asked for autographs?
No, but you got a lot of stairs.
I bet.
Yeah.
This day and age, you'd be stopping for every selfie. That pitch low, 2-0.
And you know what? Never had an incident.
No problems.
No problems, you know, and I'm sure some people, security people in Dodger Stadium may think that's very odd, but really never had anybody. Never really had anybody, you know, yell at you or anything.
The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Cervelli on deck. It's been a struggle so far tonight for Gant. Moran flied to left and brought in Gregory Polanco at that point to make it a 3-1 Pirates lead. They've added to it. It's now 4-2. Chicago has posted a victory today at Wrigley, 5-4 over San Diego.
San Diego got 3 runs in the 9th.
And a walk on 4 pitches.
Bello Cooling and Heating, #1 rated. Call now for special offers. Bello, answer the bell.
Along with Al Robotsky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Scott Warman with us. Jim Hayes in studio in St. Louis. And the grip of Mike Maddox.
He does that to kind of check the pulse of a pitcher. enjoyed having Mike around.
Mike Schultz has made a point to point out to his coaching staff that they have been remarkable in helping with the transition, which can be uncomfortable.
Oh, sure.
In particular, Jose Oquendo. It's Pop Warner there directly to the right of Mike Schilt, George Greer, Mark Budaska there on the far left. Here's Cervelli, grounded out to short. Runners at first and third, and a base hit into left center. Throw comes into second base as a run scores, and that makes it a 5-2 Pirates lead.
Belly having a career year offensively, and a lot of damage against the Cardinals this year.
His career high in RBI is 43, and he's now up to 41.
Yep. Got 10 home runs, 9 of them as a catcher.
And the batter is Harrison. He struck out back in the second when Gant struck out the side. Out to left, Ozuna won't get it. It's a base hit to make it 6-2 Pittsburgh.
Far off the plate he is. Stays in the middle of the plate a little bit. Harrison, another good ball player, but sure had some interest at the trade deadline.
Runners at first and second for Jordy Mercer. One thing the Cardinals have not gotten is a lot of length out of a starter, with the exception of Michaelis yesterday. Pitch count only at 51. And you can pull guys early, and he's got some former starters, or at least minor league guys, that were starting in the bullpen, so it's given him some flexibility, but you can't do it all the time.
No, you can't do it all the time, and I think when you talk about Gant, you know, you're really talking pretty much about a 5-inning pitcher to begin with. They'll start getting some activity, like one of the lefties. Remember, Gomber's going to pitch tomorrow. Tyler Webb starts throwing. That's where you need left-handers, and a lot of left-handers in this bench, or on this, excuse me, the lineup.
A ball and a strike with 2 runners on. The 2-1 pitch. Line to third, and the catch made by Jerko. So big inning for Pittsburgh. They pick up 3 more. They have a 6-2 lead. This press conference, he shows up. The Steelers jersey. Antonio Brown. That's how you make fans here real fast in this town. Talked about coming to Pittsburgh, a place that he wanted to play, was excited to play here. Met his new teammates. It's David Freese there.
And the Pirates had interest in him all the way back when he was an A-ball. Neil Huntington came over from Cleveland. They knew about him in the minor leagues and tried to work some trades. That many years, but kind of shocked baseball when they made the deal, and I can say they paid a pretty stiff price.
Cardinals made a deal with Tampa Bay as well, sending Tommy Pham for 3 prospects. Tommy Pham was hit by a pitch on his foot, and he's gone on the DL with a fracture.
You know, I mean, Tommy said all the right things. There's a lot of misrepresentation on some social media, but you know, Tommy was not mad at the organization. The organization wasn't mad at him. It just created an opportunity for younger players to find out what they have. And I thought the tweet, I saw the tweet that you recognized, you know, how he thanked Cardinal fans, the entire city. And
I'll say this, I'm not sure he was misrepresented. I think he was just awfully blunt.
well, that's some of that is what we always appreciated with him too. But we appreciate a lot more when he hit the year that he had last year.
Yeah, he had a tremendous season a year ago and got off to a great start this year too. He was one of the hottest hitters in baseball for about a 6-week run. Being pushed though by Bader and O'Neill. Cardinals wanted to get more depth from the left side, and they did that. And it's a walk. The third issued by Archer, one of those intentional.
Dan, I think it was Monday night, and I was kind of thinking about the future, and I said, okay, Ozuna's going to be here. You trade for him, you paid a price to get him. He's got another year in his contract. You've got Tommy Pham in center field. You got Fowler, who's having a down year but has a big contract and probably impossible to move right now. If you didn't get rid of one of them, you would never have to have that opportunity to find out about O'Neill and find out about Bader. They're not going to be able to play off the bench. You know, young players never done that. You know, they're so used to playing every day, and they have a hard time doing it. And one of the biggest things they do is they get a chance to pinch hit, or they get a rare start, and they try to do too much. You know, try to make up for lost time. Something they've never done before. So something had to happen.
Gann pushed it foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. One thing to be young, one thing though to be good too, and you know, make the deal and have an understanding that that player that goes in, whether it's O'Neill or Bader, maybe Odolis Garcia at some point, who's been red hot in the second half of the season for Memphis, that they have a chance to produce. Strike 2 on Gann. I think I saw the other day that it was for Stubby Clapp's Memphis club. There were 17 player transactions last week. Mercado, Voit, the starting rotation for Memphis now all here. And yet he's something like 14 or 15 games ahead in his division.
Well, look at even last year. I think they ended up 41 games over 500, and all the changes they had in promotions up here a year ago.
Bunt is down, but a throw to second. They'll get the lead man onto first, and not in time. So he deadened it just a little bit too much.
Well, you got to get at least out to the grass, but
2-6 on the fielder's choice. Matt Carpenter named the National League Player of the Month for July. First to do that since Albert Pujols, August of 2010. Your BJC Healthcare difference maker. First in runs, homers, extra base hits, slugging percentage, tied for second in walks. What a month. He's homered tonight and was intentionally passed back in the second. Carpenter with a high fly ball out to left. Frazier under it, makes the catch. Gant was halfway, and that's out number 2.
It was the pitcher of the month, unanimous choice in the National League in July, 75.
And your year of the Fireman of the Year was 76?
75.
75.
I think I beat the Dodgers 3 straight games. After Alston didn't select me to the All-Star game, they were in St. Louis. I was there. I love Raboski, Havana, Hade, and beat Marshall on Saturday and won Sunday. And then the first game after the break, we played the Dodgers, and I won that game too.
So you were
6-0 and I don't know how many saves.
You were a little upset.
No, we just had the opportunity to
You were upset.
I wasn't.
Al?
You know what? I mean, I'll tell you why. Things were so different back then. You know, you didn't have any of these nightly shows. Nobody knew about, you know, statistics. You weren't statistics in the game. And when people were criticizing Alston for not selecting me, goes, what kind of season is he having? He's not even listed in the Sunday statistics. And at that time, you know, it went by decisions, and I didn't have enough decisions to be listed.
A liner to the left side and a pick by Moran. Nice play. So Archer is through 4 in his Pirates debut. Cardinals strand a runner. They have stranded 6 thus far.
As we see a shot of Cards interim manager Mike Schilt telling us today, in fact we saw a couple of innings ago, Colton Wong made it to the ballpark yesterday. Colton Wong had a rehab start with Peoria, one of the Cardinals minor league affiliates, and Mike Schilt telling us before today's game that he had a medical clearance after last night's rehab start. And Dan, we find out that he will be activated for tomorrow's game 2 here in Pittsburgh against the Pirates.
All right. There's Mike Schilt talking with Miles Michaelis. Very good that ball game yesterday. There's a look at George Greer, and a guy that you played with, Al. George Greer.
Played with George in AA and AAA. First baseman, good hitter. You know, he's got a I believe a master's degree, but he's been at several different colleges. But he was at Wake Forest, the most recent, and he was the winningest coach at Wake Forest in their history. Just a real gentleman, and has a real presence about him, how he helps the guys. And he and Mark Badaska, they're right on the same page. Every day they kind of pick one guy and they work with him a little bit more than the others, but they never step on each other's toes. They never, they try and double team them. We got some guys we want to do some things with, and it's worked pretty well so far.
It's interesting to have two guys doing that, two sets of eyes watching, trying to teach. And here is Chris Archer. You saw Pop Warner with George Greer, and I was talking with Pop the other day. I said, now give me what you're doing daily with your responsibilities. He said, I'm overseeing a lot. He said, but my number one responsibility is to manage the game along with Mike Schilt. That's the bench coach and his responsibility. So talking about situations, who to get up, thinking an inning, 2, 3 innings down the line. Probably in this case, who covers some of the innings tonight down by 4 if things don't change. All that goes into that responsibility for Pop. Archer is swinging a miss. Strikeout number 4 for Gant.
You know, Danny, we talked about, you know, how Mike Schilt a couple times has had a quick hook on starters. Where, all right, you're trailing in this ball game and you got Gant. He's probably not going to go much more than 5, but he's not going to have that quick hook because he's going to have Gomber pitch tomorrow. And probably has to have, you know, make sure he has one of the piggyback, one of the guys that was in the rotation at Memphis, saving him a little bit. So we also saw Webb warm up. We figured the 2 situational lefties are going to get a little bit of pitching time in this series. So we'll get a chance to see him use other guys in that bullpen.
1 ball and 1 strike. Top of the lineup is gotten to John Gant. Frazier 2 for 2. Marte on deck. He's 2 for 2. Polanco a triple with 3 RBI. 2-1 the count.
John Gant right now just has to, you know, say, okay, I've got to keep my team in here. I got to get as many outs as I possibly can and keep the score right here. Don't let them score anymore.
You know, Archer, his pitch count is up. You will get in at some point to the bullpen of the Pirates. Archer at 77 pitches. Gant at 63. And the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Back-to-back Ks.
You know, you're making pitches like that, you know, keeping the ball away, 95 up and away to a left-handed batter. Got that good changeup that has great movement on it. Breaking ball there.
Starling Marte 2 for 2. Had the chance to text back and forth with Rick Ankiel, and he said he couldn't believe it, the amount of response that he's gotten from making an appearance last night, or 2 nights ago, I guess it was, pitching in a game. And I told Steve Blass about it, and Steve Blass had a similar type situation that Rick Ankiel went through, and Steve is a broadcaster for the Pirates. He said, I'll tell you what, if Rick wants to get back on the mound and do it, he said, number one, I'm thrilled for him. He said, I'm so happy for him. He said, go for it.
You know, I saw Steve Blass after he had his issues, and Steve Blass was a control pitcher. He was, you know, he was a top flight starter, World Series pitcher and winner. And it went to next spring, he could not throw a strike. I remember one game in spring training, I think he struck out 10 in five innings, but he hit like 6 guys. And his was more, you know, he'd hit you. And he never really threw hard, but like I said, he was a great control pitcher. But it was like a spring training game. Nobody wanted to even stand in the batter's box against him.
Got base hit out to left for Marte.
And everybody that's had those hips, first person somebody wants to send them to is Steve Blass. He goes, why are you sending them to me? I couldn't correct myself. How am I going to help you?
And he said sometimes the phone rings and he cringes. So the base hit to left, and it brings in Polanco. Ricky and Steve connected on a level that no one else would understand. And when Rick was writing his book, before it was published, he got together with Steve Blass, and those two talked privately about what each other went through. A very emotional, over 2-hour discussion. And Steve was, when I told him the news, his face lit up. He's really excited for Rick. Just to get on the mound, that's the accomplishment in itself with everything that he went through.
And it makes sense because, you know, we've seen, you know, what Rick did as giving up pitching and then work his way to the big leagues and have a 25 home run season. You know, it was incredible. And to do that, you know, I didn't think that was ever possible. And then now he's got those young boys and they come to the fantasy camp, they see his dad, and he's a great athlete. There's no doubt about that. And to see that, you can understand where his wife and the kids are all kind of egging on a little bit.
And a high fly ball lifted out to right field. Off the bat of Polanco. Fowler with the catch. DeYoung, Ozuna, O'Neill coming up. And the Pirates on top here on Fox Sports Midwest. All right, Jimmy, thank you. Is John Gant being looked at by Adam Olson? I noticed that Gant was going to the backside, and I thought it was just dirt. It actually is blood. Working on a cut on his finger.
Yeah, but it's in the
knuckle area.
And it's on the back of his finger, not in the front.
There's all the blood on the side of the pant leg there and on the backside too. 2-0 the count here on Paul DeYoung. He's been hit by a pitch and struck out with the bases loaded. Cardinals had a real good shot to bust this game open back in the second inning. And the bases loaded. Molina up. 1 out. He struck out, and then DeYoung followed with a K. 3-0 pitch. 3-1.
You know, Paul is such a good guy and had such a great year last year, and he missed time with a broken hand. Very intelligent, and you hope he's not falling into that trap trying to catch up, trying to get his numbers back up to where some semblance of where it was a year ago. You know, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of chasing balls with 2 strikes, a lot of things that young hitters don't, that do. That that's kind of a hanging pitch right there, and you let it go.
And a 3-2. And he draws a leadoff walk. So that's now 3 innings in which the Cardinals have had a leadoff walk against Archer. Paul was a little frustrated in the second at bat. Thought it was ball 4, would have been a bases loaded walk, and brought up Ozuna, but went against him. Eventually he struck out, and now Marcell Ozuna, who was doubled to left and also popped out.
And that's also the 5th leadoff man to reach base.
Cardinals have stranded 6 in this game, and that's ball 1. Pitch count at 84. And the next to Marcell Ozuna. 1 ball, 1 strike. So you went out to dinner with George Greer last night, huh?
Yep.
Just talking a little baseball.
Talking a little baseball, catching up what's happened in his life. You know, when he quit and retired as I remember he had a first-round draft choice of the Cardinals, Brett Wagner, when he was at Wake Forest.
That's right.
And then when he left Wake Forest as their winningest coach, he went to the Mets organization, was a kind of a guru hitting instructor.
There's a grounder, could be 2. Oh, it went through the legs of Mercer. And this is where the Cardinals need to make them pay. It's an error on Jordy Mercer, and the first 2 have reached.
It's the 7th error for Mercer, 71st for the ball club, and like you were saying, he is just so steady, a ball so perfectly double play. And if you don't have that good concentration, you try to get a little too quick, try and make that exchange from the glove to the hand to throw the double play, you get this end result. But you're absolutely right, where you have to make it pay right now. Tyler O'Neill's tough game so far, but we saw like Bader yesterday, 3 strikeouts, and then he got the big hit and scored the winning run in the 9th inning.
And strike 1 to O'Neill.
But his power, and remember when he had 26 home runs at AAA, 3 in the big leagues, the 26 home runs and 61 RBIs in just 61 minor league games.
The 0-1. O'Neill with a fly ball. And Marte can't find it. And so Frazier comes over. He can't get it. Oh, no. Now the Cardinals are running themselves into an out. Ozuna will be caught between second and third. And instead of having the bases loaded, nobody out, Ozuna thought they were going to wave into Young, and he's out. The crazy play on both sides.
Yeah, he never really picked up the fact that Jose had stopped Young at third base. Was more than halfway around. Fly ball right away. Marte says he can't see it and raises his hands there. So you saw Frazier dive for it. But look at there. There you see Ozuna just took off running. And then he finds out that the runner, DeYoung, is still at third base. So, boy, you just can't make those mistakes, especially when you're a veteran player.
So it's a single and then an 8-3-4 out. Here's Jed Jerko. He's hitting just 190 this year against Pittsburgh pitching. He's walked and scored and grounded out to short. This has been a game early on, at least against Archer. They've had plenty of opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. He's had 90 pitches here in the, with just 1 out in the 5th, and they shouldn't have the 1 out.
Well, that's a big mistake.
Well, you can't do that, you know.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Sure, Ozuna was sitting there saying, well, Paul DeYoung should have stopped, but with nobody out, and when your third base coach holds you up, you've got to look at, watch the runner ahead of you. You got to see that.
One and 2 on Jerko. On deck, Dexter Fowler. So again, Ozuna, take a look here.
See, he's never looked. Never looked.
The 1-2. And it's a base hit into right field off the bat of Jed Jerko. DeYoung will score. O'Neill from first to third. It's a big hit.
No doubt about it. One thing, you know, he's not having the year, Jerko, that he's had the first 2 years here in St. Louis, but he does usually have his best moments when runners are in scoring position. There he gets another slider, but we see so many. These guys are prepared for it. And way off balance, but gets it over the infield, and the Cardinals get a run here. Ray Surge will come out and talk to Archer, and that'll give time for the bullpens to get active. Both bullpens, because you're getting down with the Cardinals can extend this inning. They may have a scoring opportunity with Ganspot coming up.
Edgar Santana, a right-hander throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Right-hander throwing for St. Louis as well. Well, you know that in making his debut, first game in a Pirates uniform, they're trying to get him through 5 and qualify for a win.
No doubt, especially when hadn't had one since, what, 2 months ago?
And now Dexter Fowler representing the tying run at the plate. And again, you get back to the point of at least getting one more run in. Single to right and struck out. And the 0-1 pitch. Fowler, base hit into right. That makes it a 6-4 Pirates lead. He beats the shift. O'Neill scores. And Jerko to second base. Looked like Jed had to make sure it got through.
Yes.
But if not, he'd probably be at third base.
And Archer's going to get knocked out of this first start. But you can see there the ball, 96, but right in the middle of the plate, and hits it hard, gets it by the infield. Have to be disappointed. Get 6 runs and can't qualify for a win.
Appearances this year. It's been scored upon just once in his last 14 appearances. Runners at first and second. And the batters Jairo Munoz and Jose Martinez is at the on deck circle. Munoz has an RBI double and a walk tonight. And the first pitch taken for a ball. I'm sure they're talking about that situation with Ozuna getting caught between second and third.
He's pleading his case, but Yachty's going, yeah, but there's a runner in front of him.
A ball and a strike. Cardinals with a leadoff walk by DeYoung. Ozuna reaching on an error. A ball that was hit high in the air to center that Marte couldn't come up with, but Ozuna ran into an out. Then back-to-back singles by Jerko and Fowler. The 1-1. 1-2.
You're a reliever and you come in with men on base like this. The most important person is the first batter you face. And you see what he's stranded there. He's also retired that first batter 70% of the time, 35 out of 50, and he's been scored upon just once in his last 14 outings.
And the 1-2 is hit down the right field line. Out of play. Shade him a bit to right field. All kinds of room down the left field line. And the 1-2 pitch to Munoz. Base hit into left. And the bases are loaded now for yesterday's hero, Jose Martinez.
Munoz 2 for 2 in a walk. Got an RBI.
For the Cardinals, number 38, Jose.
So again, the Cardinals with the bases loaded. Back to yesterday. Runners at second and third against Wade Davis. That drives in 2 for a Cardinal win. And St. Louis took 3 of 4.
How about Martinez? Still leads the team with RBIs, getting those 2 yesterday. Highest batting average, but a bench player now, and he's got a great attitude. So I'm a team player. I'm happy to be in St. Louis, and I'm going to make them pay every time I get a chance to play.
First ever walk-off hit for Jose Martinez. The base hit could tie this game up. Jose, career pinch hitter, amazing numbers. 432, couple of homers. He's driven in 5. He's batting .327 this year with runners on base. In the 1-0. 2-0. He does have a grand slam. 4 for 13. The grand slam. He's driven in 14. With the bases loaded, he's ahead in the count now. 2 balls and no strikes. What an opportunity here for the Cardinals here in the top of the 5th. .3-0. Well, you know he's got the green light.
Oh yeah, you just really just say, be disciplined. Look for a pitch. If it's not the pitch and it's a strike, don't swing it. Look for a certain zone, certain pitch. When guys have the green light on 3-0 and they pop it up or something like that, you go, that's not the pitch you were looking for. You got to do damage here if you're going to swing.
The 3-0 pitch. 3-1. Chris Archer, his Pirates debut, and now his team on the ropes.
Now they took him out to where he could not be the loser. Can't be the winner either.
3-1 pitch. 3-2. Martinez, sometimes he swings and it looks like he's going to fall over. That vicious cut that he has.
Well, he's 6'7". And you would think that it'd be tough. He'd have a lot of holes in his swing or something like that. But he has that ability to foul off pitches, you know, and as you say, looks like he's going to fall down sometimes, but you know, he'll reach out there, protect the plate, waiting for that one mistake. And if you're patient enough, and you see enough pitches, you're probably going to get it one, and then you have to be able to do something with it.
The 3-2 puts it in play slowly towards third, barehanded, and the out at first. A run scores to make it 6-5.
Reaching for it, but you know, you just run as hard as you possibly can. That's one of those times when if you hit it too hard, you know, it doesn't work for it. But if you just hit a little number like that, the tough play for Moran, he made it good, but the Cardinals pick a run out of it. Another RBI for the Cardinal leader.
Intentional walk to Carpenter. Second time they've done that, to pitch to Yadier Molina, and the second time they've done it to load the bases up for Yadi.
Showing a little respect there for Carpenter, because Santana has held lefties to a .215 average, much better than his average against the righties, but the lefties have hit 5 home runs against him.
Molina is 0 for 3. He's flied to right.
Does he have 4 grand slams at this moment?
I believe so. He struck out and also grounded to third. Big gap in left center. Molina on the first pitch pulls it foul. Cardinals with 4 consecutive hits. Then the ground out. Carpenter, Munoz, Fowler all aboard. Again, where Carpenter, or rather Fowler, can get down the line. Third baseman is back. That's Moran. Molina jammed, slowly hit left side. Moran plenty of time, and he makes the play. Cardinals strand the bases loaded. They have left 9 on through 5, but we've got a game. It's now 6-5. John Gandy allowed 8 hits tonight, 6 runs. Struck out 5, walked 1. 4 innings, 6 runs for John Gant. Then he'll give way to the bullpen, John Brebbia. They'll get Freeze, Moran, and Cervelli. The Cardinals will have to activate Colton Wong tomorrow. We'll see what the corresponding move may be. John Brebbie has been a guy that's gone up and down and up and down. But he's not the only one, is he?
No.
We've had a lot of movement this year.
Yeah, you got those options left. Sometimes it's not fair, but
yeah, life's not fair.
Jordan Hicks has options left too, but we haven't thought of sending him down once, have we?
No, sir. But that's, that's baseball. You sign up for it, you know what you're getting into. It is what it is. Now the ride up to the big leagues a lot better probably than going back down.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have 72 hours to report. It takes you about 2 hours to come to the big leagues. It takes you sometimes 72 to get down.
And a ball outside. David Freese tonight. Grounded out to short, grounded out to second, 0 for 2. We're in the bottom of the 5th, and the 1-1. A slider in there for a strike. Boy, it's been a game of missed opportunities for the Cardinals. That base running mistake by Ozuna, or whomever you want to blame, looms large right now in this game. Base hit by David Freese, reaching for it, and a single to left. Leadoff hit, and the batter is Colin Moran. Moran with a sac fly to left, picked up an RBI, his 40th, walked and scored in the 3rd. And right now it's up to the bullpens as both starters have been knocked out. Pirates got their leadoff man on in the 1st, the 3rd, and now the 5th. And ball 1. Our Chevy call to the pen, John Brebbia. Season numbers for John. 33rd appearance, ERA over 4.
Last 5 appearances, only scored upon once.
Soft floater left side in a foul ball. Kind of a neat story, but Matt Carpenter, his bat that was used on July 20th, has arrived at the Baseball Hall of Fame. First player to record 5 extra base hits in that game in Chicago. Then the first 6 innings went 5 for 5, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, and now his bat in Cooperstown. Pretty cool.
I mean, he was asked about it and he agreed to come out of that game, but
what might have been.
What might have been, right?
Against position players too.
Yeah. And I think in some ways that was helped make his decision go, well, that's not wouldn't feel that would be very big accomplishment, but it was like a little squiggler that's a line drive in the scorebook. Nobody would know they were against position players.
Count me as one that would have liked to have seen it.
I would have too.
Call me greedy.
Always have.
Thanks, Al. The late swing on that fastball and a strikeout for Brebbia. Sunday, September 9th, just around the corner, you can join gold medalist Jackie Joyner-Kersee for the Cardinals 6K to benefit area children. You can enjoy an on-course slip and slide finish on the field, dugout photos, race t-shirt, post-race watch party. Register now at cardinals.com/6K. And a ball inside to Cervelli. Pirates with a couple of singles with 2 outs back in the third that drove in runs. One of those by Cervelli, the other by Harrison, who's at the on deck circle. Two and 0.
Good slider down and away, have him reach for it and get a double play ball.
Two balls and a strike.
My slider to roll over on, but he didn't swing.
Might get it right here. The 2-1 pitch to Cervelli. And a fly ball into center. Sends O'Neill back. Plenty of room in this ballpark. Makes the catch. Out number 2.
Bello Cooling and Heating, #1 rated. Call now for special offers. Bello, answer the bell.
Brebbia has gotten 2 outs, a single to lead off the inning by Freeze, and now it's Josh Harrison. And that pitch in the dirt.
When we first saw Harrison, he could play all over the infield.
You know, he's a Rule 5 pickup. He's a guy that the Cubs had at one point.
Yeah. And play all over the diamond. Such prowess that he became an all-star.
You know, Harrison was pretty vocal beginning of the season about the trades. David Freese was as well.
Spring training.
They were not happy about seeing Cole and McCutchen traded away. You know, the margin for error in terms of the front office, it's different than being in Boston and New York or Chicago or LA. I mean, can't miss on many.
Those big market clubs have so much money they can outspend their mistakes, and you can't do it here. But yet the Pirates got off to a good start. You know, you would think that the revamping, getting rid of your best position player, getting rid of your #1 pitcher. But it's one thing with Clint Hurdle, very good with the younger players.
The 2-1 pitch, 2-2. Clint Hurdle was at the helm of the Rockies when they went to the World Series in 2007 on the famous slide by Matt Holliday, who's playing for the Isotopes tonight and has a base hit.
You know, I knew that he was sick a little bit last year and nobody knew what it was, but I found out tonight what he had was mercury poison, Matt Holliday. And it took the Yankees a long time to know it. You know, he loves fish and sushi and living down there in Florida, and he got mercury poison. And he just got the okay a week ago to come back.
That's popped up. Carpenter right on the line and makes the catch in a scoreless inning for John Brebbia. We head to the 6th. It's 6-5. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Ford, going further so you can. And by the Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer, close to home. Well, that's impressive right there.
Jim Hayes, isn't it?
No, Jimmy's back in studio, but I can understand why you get that mixed up. Jimmy and Scott have been doused with Gatorade and water lately. The strike to Young. Santana, his second inning of work.
Jim did tell me yesterday, he said he was one of the few times he was very pleased to be on the set.
And poor Scotty. He took the brunt of it yesterday.
Oh, yeah. And of course, it's getaway day, so he jumps on the charter with his soaking wet pants. They gave him a T-shirt, but I said, take a shower, and he goes, not yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't get a chance to do that until after he got here in Pittsburgh.
Catch made off the bat of DeYoung. So if you missed it yesterday, here it is. It's a right hook from Mike Tyson. Uh-oh, bam. Whoa, he said. You got a kick out of that. Listen to you.
As long as it's not me.
Exactly. Here's Marcell Ozuna. Reached on an air, has doubled and popped out. So Scotty, you had to wait to shower until we got here to Pittsburgh, huh?
That's exactly right, Dan. Remember, we were delayed before we took off from St. Louis to get here. I'm like, please, let's get going. I can't wait.
Well,
but I will say this, as Francisco Pena, he has apologized a number of times because he had no idea I was heading over to Pittsburgh. He just assumed Jimmy was heading to Pittsburgh with you guys, but he did apologize after that happened. But whoo, that was quite a bath I took, buddy.
What about the shirt that you were wearing? I noticed you came in with a T-shirt on the charter.
That's correct. Thanks to our good friend Mark Walsh. He helped me out a little bit. At least I had a dry shirt. Now, as you know, everybody was in a jacket, and fortunately I couldn't wear anything but a T-shirt on the airplane. So other than Miles Michaelis with his hat and everything, I was probably the second best dressed guy on the plane, I think.
Not really.
Al, I've never heard you giggle like this. You're like a little kid. You love it.
I'll stick to the champagne in the locker room. But
oh, I've seen that with
these
you
guys
too.
can handle that.
First two retired, and Tyler O'Neill, the batter. He singled on a ball that was hit to center, and Starling Marte couldn't pick it up. Dropped in for a base hit. Then Ozuna was in the rundown. And that's a miss tonight right now for the Cardinals, down by a run.
Yeah, that time of night that sometimes you just don't see in the outfield. Lights really haven't taken effect, and you kind of get out there in no man's land. You know it's kind of going your way, but you can't find it. And the left fielder tried to make a miraculous catch. I want to see one of these long home runs.
I'm with you.
31 a year ago at AAA, 26 this year in 61 games. Hit 3 up here when he was up with the big club earlier.
Here's a 2-0, and he picks up a single into center field.
We'll take that one too.
Kind of muscled that one out to
Yes.
center. His second hit of the night after striking out the first 2 times. Brings in Jerko, who has walked and scored. And singled to right on a 1-2 pitch to pick up an RBI back in the 5th. Down by a run. Cardinals have been active on the bases here recently. But a lot of that is just due to the fact that, you know, Mike Schilt and his staff, they have so much at their fingertips, knowing that, okay, a pitcher is a swing and miss pitcher. or he's slow to the plate. Combine that with what we think is at first base with the particular individual and his speed, and then make the choice.
Yeah, how time of the pitcher from his release point to home plate, the release of the catcher. And you have to have some young kids that play with, you know, reckless abandon and fearless. And
that's tap foul.
see Santana there, a little bit of a slide step to get the ball quicker to the plate, but a lot of times when you do that, you don't have the same command. Only with the stopwatch in his right hand.
And a pitch taken for a ball, 2-1. And a 2-1 pitch to Jed Jerko. Not running. 2-2.
Slider kind of backed up.
Boy, all kinds of room on the right side of the infield. Holding the runner. Harrison on the shortstop side. The 2-2, a base hit out to left. O'Neill will stop at second base. And Jed Jerko aboard for the third time. Dexter Fowler 2 for 3 tonight. Single to right in the second, struck out in the third. And with runners at first and third in the fifth, he singled to right and picked up a run batted in. Shift on the right side of the infield. Munoz at the on deck circle. And that pitch nearly to the backstop.
Yeah, Santana's throwing a lot of balls up right now, and I agree with you with the shift on, and Fowler should be able to hit the ball to the left side.
Dexter has started 13 of the 15 games since the All-Star break. But being pushed by O'Neill and Bader. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes.
Belly trying to get the he's trying to get the attention of the trainer, and they're going to go out and check on Santana.
Richard Rodriguez, right-hander, throwing in the pen. Those catchers, they pick up just about everything, it seems like, with their teammates and their pitchers. They know them so well. Any little odd delivery to the plate, and they're bringing out the medical team.
Yeah, and Lance Barksdale, our home plate umpire, just signaled it was not a visit to the mound. There's just a medical question there, and Santana said he's okay.
And a 2-0 pitch now to Dexter Fowler.
Boy, there you kind of wonder at times when rookie pitcher out there on the mound, you're a veteran hitter and you're hitting ahead of the count and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to look for a cookie right down the middle. Fastball down the middle.
3-1.
Didn't swing at the fastball. There he comes with the slider in off the plate.
A walk here, and the Cardinals will have their 5th plate appearance with the bases loaded. They have left 9 on through 5. A 3-1 pitch. 3-2.
Watching the Pirate fielders, you know, they're just standing flat-footed. Saw Freeze went over to talk to a second baseman who the pitch before was in a kneeling position out there in the outfield grass, waiting for the pitcher to throw.
The 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again. It's another 3-2 pitch to Fowler. He walked him, bases loaded. Cardinals have received 6 walks tonight, 2 of those intentional. And Clint Hurdle will go back to his bullpen. That's it for Santana. Munoz coming up with the bases loaded. He's battled Mookie Betts and the Red Sox. AL Showdown coverage begins at 2 on FS1. Stream it live on the Fox Sports app.
Talking about missed opportunities, and here we are, bases loaded again. The Cardinals have already stranded 9. If they don't come through here, really frustration. Rodriguez has been very good of late. 53 strikeouts in 44 innings and got a 1.57 ERA last 12 games.
And strike 1 to Munoz.
Also stranded each of his last 15 inherited runners.
It's the big one to me. Inherited runners.
Yeah. And for the season, only 3 of 20 inherited runners have scored.
0-1 pitch to Munoz. 0-2. Gyro tonight. A double down the right field line. That brought in a run. He walked in the 4th, singled to left in the 5th. In the hole here, 0-2. A 2-out rally here by the Cardinals. Back-to-back hits and a walk. And the 0-2 pitch taken high. Cardinals about hit the Pirates 10-9, and they trail 6-5. Oh boy, just missed. 2-2.
Boy, it could have gone either way.
He rung up DeYoung on that pitch earlier in the game with the bases loaded. This time it goes the Cardinals' way. 2-2 the count. Rodriguez is set with the bases loaded. Munoz hits it up the middle. Jordy Mercer makes the play. Cardinals strand the bases loaded. They have left 12 on through 6. And it stays a 1-run Pirates lead.
Operations, John Mozeliak with his son. Danny touched on it earlier. Tyler Lyons clearing out waivers today and accepted an assignment with the Memphis Redbirds. John Mozeliak telling us earlier he spoke with Tyler on the phone and said Tyler really just never felt like he got in a rhythm this year. He will go to Memphis and he'll actually be stretched out as a starter. John Mozeliak also telling us that if Brett Cecil will go down for a rehab assignment with the Memphis Redbirds on Monday. And Dan, Adam Wainwright will join the team in Miami. He will have a bullpen session, and Mo says that if that goes well, he will go up I-95 and he will start a rehab with Palm Beach.
All right, Scotty, thanks. Brebbia's second inning of work, and that's driven out to center. O'Neill going back, and makes the catch. Ball just carried on him.
He played it like it kind of just kept on carrying instead of really getting back there quickly and making an easier catch. He just drifted back on it and holds it in. But That's all new right now, is where these guys pull out this little cheat sheet, check out how to play the guys defensively that coming up. Never saw that until the last couple of years. Makes sense, doesn't it?
It sure does. Now Bostic, the pinch hitter. Pinch hitting for Rodriguez. Season debut was Wednesday against Chicago, went 0 for 1, and a good fastball by Brebbia. 0-2. Brebbia in relief of John Gant. 4 innings, 6 runs. And the 0-2 pitch.
Bostic made his major league debut last year with the Pirates. 296, 27 at bats, 20 big league games. He was an all-star last year at AAA.
And a strikeout for John Brebbia.
Injury or illness should never interrupt childhood. St. Louis Children's Hospital, guardians of childhood.
2 quick outs, and Adam Frazier. And what will be Brebbia's final inning of work. He is due up first for the Cardinals in the top of the 7th. Frazier is 2 for 3 with a double and a single.
I like Mike Schilt's willingness to extend relievers more than 1 inning. Always had a theory that if you're successful 3 out of 4 times, 4 out of 5 times a reliever, you're doing a pretty good job. And when you use 4 or 5 relievers a night, somebody's going to have a bad game.
Yeah. Just the odds of it.
Yeah.
Guys get worn out too.
And you always have guys, you know, with 8 relievers, you should always be covered.
That's in the gap in left center. O'Neill over and makes the catch. Got a good jump on that ball and a nice play by Tyler O'Neill. A pinch hitter, and then Matt Carpenter coming up. Started the game with a solo home run. After Carp, Yadier Molina, it's 6-5. Coming in here into the 7th with Texas this year. His numbers. Lefties hit .321 against him, and the Cardinals start with a lefty here. Another one to follow in Matt Carpenter. And the Yadier Molina. So it's Greg Garcia, the pinch hitter. Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
Gullo was their closer at Texas. He had 24 saves and 25 attempts. Born in Los Angeles, but his father is of Hawaiian heritage.
He had converted what, 24 of 25?
24 of 25.
Second in the majors in save percentage. Last year, opponents only hit 135 against him.
Right-handers this year batting 125 against him.
2-1. Left on the bench for the Cardinals, Harrison Bader and the backup catcher Pena. Keela, the fourth pitcher used by Clint Hurdle tonight. That's in the dirt. 3-1.
And he's only 25 years of age. Well, I guess he turned 26 in April, but 2 more years under control for the Pirates, and so kind of odd to be trading this arm, isn't it?
You know, you're just not sure with another team and what they've got coming through a system.
Sure.
That's something to think about. But I get your drift. Young guy has put up pretty good numbers. And a 3-2 pitch. Garcia to center. And Marte with the catch.
Of course, we thought it was pretty good. You know, what the Pirates traded to get Archer was a high price, and maybe this left-handed pitcher, young left-handed pitcher Tyler Hearns, and a player to be named, you know, maybe he's a rising star that the Texas really thought highly of. But you never know, man. Get some of those guys in low minor leagues.
Yeah,
it's a crapshoot.
There's Carpenter. Been walked twice and hit a home run. The cricket smile of Matt Carpenter. For his leadoff home run.
Weaver.
Boy, he's into it. Carpenter drives it into the right field corner, and it's a fair ball. Hops over the sidewall, and it's a ground rule double. He's on base for the 4th time. Man, is he hot.
Home run to lead off the ball game. Then he was intentionally walked twice. He flew out to left the only time he made an out, but you're right. Swinging the bat well, and the only question, would this stay fair?
Well, Yadier Molina's had some opportunities tonight. He has stranded 7 on the night. Twice he has been up with the bases loaded, and a base hit could tie this game up at 6. And ball 1. Many chances for the Cardinals offense tonight with 12 left on through 6 innings.
The other day when he had a big game, he was in a little bit of a rut, came through.
Looks like he's opened up his stance a little bit more.
I've also noticed, watch how he'll take the approach and he taps the bat all the way in the left-hand side of the batter's box. Never seen him do that until just recently. See, he reaches over there and then comes back into the right-hand side.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Molina.
Thought he might not play yesterday, but he had the big offensive game on Wednesday, so he's right back in there, and again here tonight. Iron Man.
And he strikes out. Plaza Tire Service replay, and Molina 0 for 5 tonight.
You see an 84-mile-an-hour curveball, 98-mile-an-hour fastballs, and he's just turned 26.
Cardinals 5 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Strike two, ball to Young. Came up with the bases loaded, struck out in the second, hit by a pitch in the first, walked and scored in the fifth, and popped out into foul territory to the third baseman Moran. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hard curveball, 82 to 84.
Two and one.
We'll see if they doesn't come up with a changeup or something to combat these left-handed batters. You know, that curveball kind of coming right down and into their swing. If an uppercut plane of a left-handed.
To Young into right. That ball will drop. It's a base hit. They'll wave in Carpenter. Throw to the plate. And they got him. A strike to the plate from Polanco.
Polanco, everybody knows he's got a good arm and he fires it. You got it equal to the task, and Carpenter dead out.
Moment of silence. But 30 seconds ago. So the Cardinals just back out onto the diamond. Well, Jose Oquendo pushing it here late in the game, and Polanco an absolute strike to the plate.
Yeah, he got the ball in front of him, one hop, got a momentum coming forward. We all know he has a strong throwing arm, but you got to press the defense. And you know, being a good third base coach, at times you're going to get guys thrown out, but it's worth the risk. It just didn't work.
So the lefty Webb, Tyler Webb, into the ball game. His numbers with San Diego and now St. Louis. Cardinals carrying two lefties, Chasen Shreve and Tyler Webb. We mentioned earlier that Tyler Lyons is he's cleared waivers and now back at Memphis. Boy, it'd be good to see if Tyler could rediscover his breaking pitch, which was his bread and butter, but the velocity was dropping a bit.
Well, you know, I mean, he had that knee surgery, and then it didn't really take, or he had a problem with it, and almost more than a year that really recovering from that. You wonder if that kind of lost his base and wasn't able to get on top and pull down on the breaking ball, but hopefully he'll get his health back, get back there, and he's going to go there and start, and that'd be the best way to, for him to get himself back into shape and get himself back into playing. So, but these guys look like they got a chance to help us right now for a while.
Marte is 3 for 3. 2 runs scored, 2 singles and a double. Brebbia 2 scoreless innings. In relief of John Gann, who went 4.
Webb was claimed off of waivers by the Pirates from the Yankees in the 2016 Rule 5 draft. And then he was in spring training with Pittsburgh in 2017, but it was returned to the Yankees before the regular season began. Pitched 2 scoreless innings in his Cardinal debut on July 29th versus Chicago.
Nothing at 2 the count. Marte. Polanco to follow, and then David Freese. How about the throw from Polanco? 97 miles per hour. He has got a very good arm. You could throw that hard, and that's fine, but you got to be accurate too. And it was a one-hopper. It was perfect.
And Dan, they've had some pretty good right fielders in this town. Clemente, but I'm going to talk about somebody else. That
Dave Parker,
because as Polanco gets older and that body fills out and gets bigger and stronger, he reminds me so much of Parker. And Parker, when he showed up to the big leagues, he was as fast as anybody in the game and was about 6'5" and 230. And those first couple of years, he would there's some crazy number like 40 infield hits because he could run so fast and then hit home runs on top of it.
Carpenter wants it and makes the catch. And with 1 out, the batter is Polanco. Want to buy or sell tickets? Get the StubHub app and you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets until the first pitch, or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. Official partner of the Cardinals. Here's Polanco now. Triple, drove in 2 in the first, sac fly in the third, another RBI, and then flied out to right. Cardinals in the 8th will have Ozuna, O'Neill, and Jerko coming up.
Also, when you look at Polanco, you have to think about Oscar Taveras.
Always do. Those 2 highly thought of prospects coming up at about the same time. In the air, left center, O'Neill. We turn now to our Budweiser What's on Tap. Austin Gomber back in the starting rotation for the Cardinals. His second start. Ivan Nova will go for the Pirates, and we're on the air tomorrow, 5:30 St. Louis time on Fox Sports Midwest. Here's David Freese with 2 outs. Crowd tonight 26,773. 26773.
Well, maybe about 10,000 more than they probably would have had.
And a base hit for Freeze into right field.
There's your typical David Freeze taking that pitch up and away and just driving it to right field.
2-out base hit, and Colin Moran. Moran has walked and scored back in the third. He struck out, picked up an RBI and a sac fly.
Tyler Webb looks like one of these guys that nothing real flashy, but throws strikes, kind of keeps it out of the middle of the plate. Dominantly, keeps it down. Changes speeds a little bit.
And ball one. And Molina wants to talk to Webb here with 2 outs and a runner at first and a count of 1-0. Think about the role of Yadier Molina guiding so many of these young pitchers now, whether it be in the bullpen or the rotation.
You can't deny that it's a big part of the success Cardinal young pitchers have, is having somebody like Yadi to, like you say, that they all trust. He sees things that nobody else sees. Kind of simple to just say it that way. So aware of everything that's going on in a game. Why so many managers are former catchers.
And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Molina knows the league so well, knows the hitters, then trying to learn his own guys and formulate the plan pitch by pitch.
Yeah, and give them confidence. And most of the time, if your strength as a pitcher matches up with the strength of a hitter, you still do it. You can't bend a pitch if you don't have it. I used to go to meetings, they say, well, a good fastball hitter. I said, well, can he hit a great one? Because that's all I threw.
1-2. Left that up but got away with it. Munoz to first. Pirates strand a runner, their 5th of the night in a scoreless inning for Webb. Ozuna, O'Neill, Jerko coming up. prospect in the Giants system. And now here he is pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Giants selected Crick in the first round, 49th overall in 2011. But a big signing bonus. Had some success with the Giants. Pittsburgh picked up Crick and Brian Reynolds, part of the Andrew McCutchen deal this last offseason. It's Marcell Ozuna to lead it off, followed by O'Neill and Jerko. Ozuna with a double to left back in the third. One of the stories tonight from the Cardinals' perspective, they have stranded 13 runners. They've had the bases loaded 6 different times. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Inside, and it hit him. Ozuna hit by the pitch, and the tying run is aboard. That's the second Cardinal hit tonight. The other was DeYoung back in the first.
Let's get one of these scoring opportunities and just keep on piling on. But you're right. If you lose this ball game, you look back at those stranded runners.
O'Neill, a swing and a miss. A couple of singles tonight to go along with a pair of strikeouts.
See, he's a hard thrower, and right-hand batters are just batting 153 against him.
One ball and one strike. Room on the right side of the infield. Very deep in the outfield. The 1-1 pitch. Pretty good slider there too.
No, you think he got to be a top prospect, come up there, and that's what Tyler O'Neill's going to have to do. He's going to have to learn how to hit those breaking balls.
He does there. That's into center and a base hit. Ozuna to second, on his way to third. He's safe. O'Neill is safe. The base running of the Cardinals again coming through late. Runners at second and third, and nobody out.
Kind of reading the mind of Ozuna. He was a little ticked off that he got hit, and he deked Marte. First of all, it's a hanging breaking ball, and he does a good job of hitting it, leading out there. Marte gets the ball. Ozuna went even to second base, and he never stopped, and he forced him, and Marte never assumed that he was going to run, and the throw is wide. Watch him go over to there, get the ball, then he throws it wide. O'Neill picks it up and then very alertly gets to second.
And a strike on Jed Jerko. The Cardinals at one point did lead this game back in the first inning after the solo home run hit by Carpenter. Boy, you love to see that base running there.
Yeah. Can't teach that too. I mean, it's just kind of instinctual.
Here's the 0-1. Up the middle. That'll score a run. This game is tied. And Jerko is the first out. O'Neill advancing to third. And we're tied up 6-6. A runner at third. And only one out.
Jerko's second RBI of the night. Ties the score right there. Just, you know, you don't always have to get a base hit to drive in somebody, and now with the runner at third and just one out, they bring the infield in, so a lot of hitting lanes for Fowler.
And Fowler tonight with 2 hits, both to right, an RBI in the 5th and a walk in the 6th, on base 3 times.
What would this do for Fowler's psyche if he could come through here?
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Fowler, little flare, popped up left side. Does it get out of play? Or is the catch made?
Nope.
And he's got a life. 1 ball, 1 strike. Is about a foot away from being caught.
Yeah, real close. New life, make him pay.
Some of the fans booing the fans near the stands. We're going after this baseball.
All right, but you can see nobody reached out on the playing field. Reach out there, you know, then you could maybe make a case for it, but the ball was in the stands. And first of all, it's just human, you know, you're going to do that. You're not thinking you want a souvenir.
Here's a 1-2. Fowler hits it sharply to first. O'Neill off with contact and out. So Freeze gets another runner at the plate by the Cardinals, and Fowler couldn't bring him in.
You know, you say you're going on contact, you know, ball's hit, you take off. And all of a sudden, David Freeze, you know, they're playing in. You aren't fooling somebody like David. Throws a strike to the plate. Execution when the game on the line, and they've done it twice.
Here's Munoz. That's out of play. Boy, what an opportunity for the Cardinals. The game that they have battled all the way back and now have tied it up at 6.
Lost 2 runners at the plate. They've stranded 13 runners on the bases.
Tough to win games when those numbers start to pile up. Inside corner, 0-2.
Definitely tough to do it. You can't, over the long haul, you do that, you're going to lose more times than not. But hey, tied it up, still got game to play. And you got a chance here for Munoz to get his 3rd hit.
And the 0-2 pitch. He does. A base hit into center. Harrison Bader will pinch hit for Webb. And Fowler at second, not at third, and so Bader will be the batter. Harrison Bader had a big hit after striking out the first 3 times the game yesterday and then singled to right. As a pinch hitter, he's 3 for 25. Cardinals on their bench down to Francisco Pena. First pitch to Bader. Here's a ball outside. Carpenter at the on-deck circle. 6-6 our score.
It's a tough role being a pinch hitter, period. But for young kids, it's real tough. But I say right now that you got a guy like Bader, he's got so much confidence in himself.
2-0.
Keep on falling behind, and
Crick's really, he's getting underneath some of those sliders.
Exactly. You know, I mean, more times than not that we've seen, yeah, he's got the great fastball, he's got a slider when he stays on top of it's good, but he's hung several of them.
The 2-0 pitch. It's imperative now that the runners get a good start in that secondary lead.
Well, you know, here you are too, Dan, and you got 2 outs, you got got a strike on the batter. You really go there, but if you get 2 strikes on Bader, then Fowler's out there and he can almost be an umpire. And if he sees the ball in the strike zone, or if he sees him start to swing, you know, he can just flat out take off. not paying attention to him, so he can get a much bigger lead.
And it's 3-1. No one throwing, at least at the moment, for the Pirates. This is all Crick. Cardinals have Jordan Hicks throwing. I bring up that secondary lead in particular. Bader is adept at going to right field. And we know about the arm of Polanco. We've already seen it tonight.
Yeah. But here you are. Now you got that scenario where he's got the full count, 3-2. So Fowler should get a really big jump. Take off.
3-2 pitch. Bader to second. Harrison makes the play. Happened with Dexter Fowler going from second to third to the point that he had to be helped off the field. And Oquendo immediately waving to the Cardinal dugout. And then Chris Conroy, the Cardinals medical team, had to help Fowler off. Fowler had his arm around him and helped off the field. So Mike Schilt, there it is, with Bader pinch hitting. Now Bader has to stay in the game.
Well, that's fine, but if it would have happened, and then Pena's going in this game too, so we're out of bench players.
I'm not sure if
is he going to first.
Might be an equipment issue with Molina. No, you're right.
Carpenter's not at first right now, but neither is Munoz.
So Pena is behind the plate throwing.
There you get the glove. He's going to go play first base. But it's something happened to Carpenter.
Munoz will go to right. O'Neill is in center, so they're just going to have Bader come out of the game and not use him in this spot, and then put Molina at first base and then Pena behind the plate. But where is Carpenter?
He's at third.
He's at third base. So Jerko goes
second.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it seem like it? You know, you just put Bader in there instead of moving everybody around. So if Bader hurt himself. He ran really hard down the first base line.
That's the only thing I can think of.
You know, Hicks is in this ball game and it's all tied. Cardinals have left 15 on. Bader's sitting there, so you doesn't look like there's anything wrong with him.
So the Cardinals are out of bench players.
Out of bench players.
There's Cervelli now to start the 8th inning. Who's on first? What's on second? And the first pitch is strike two. Cervelli at 102 from Jordan Hicks.
Of course, you can put Yachty at first base because he's done it quite a few times, but almost every day he takes ground balls at first base. There's our Hyundai pitch arsenal for Jordan Hicks.
And a ground ball that's hit to short. Paul DeYoung. Throw up the line. The tag applied by Molina. And now Jerko changing out his gloves. Good play by Yachty with the tag. Brings in Harrison, who is 1 for 3.
Strange game.
And Harrison looks at a strike. And it's 0-2. The next two, Josh Harrison from Jordan Hicks. Ground ball left side, taken by Carpenter, and Yachty couldn't come up with it. Be a base hit.
It looked like Yachty had enough time to get off the bag, get the ball, and come back and step on it. But tough chance here for Carpenter. He's got to throw on the run, throw from foul territory. It's a little bit up the line. Harrison really wasn't running that hard, and I think he could have came off the bag, got it, and then got back and stepped on the bag. But as it is,
I would think that Jordan Hicks would be tough to run against because of his velocity, but you do have Pena back there instead of Molina. Now Jordy Mercer in a 6-6 game.
Harrison just has 3 steals and 3 attempts.
I think really interesting to hear what Mike Schilt has to say about emptying his bench at this point in the game.
I'm curious. They gave Harrison a single on that ball. You know, what kind of threw me off is I thought I saw Harrison Bader go to right field at the beginning of the inning. And then we kind of got sidetracked with Fowler coming off injured.
Bader was pinch hitting in the pitcher's spot.
How long are you going to keep Hicks out there? You know, Dexter was hitting in the 7th spot.
Here's a 1-1.
Let's get a double play right now and then score about 6 runs. Maybe that's it. They wanted to have Yachty at first base for pickoff attempts.
Well, the only thing I can think is that when we saw Jose Oquendo racing to the home plate umpire, is that Mike Schilt did not see that Fowler was hurt. And so at that point, he announced the pitcher in on Bader's spot before Oquendo got his attention. Now that would be a logical explanation.
Yeah. And
that's my guess.
It was pretty quick for Schilt to get out there to do that, but
I think that's why Jose was racing in to do that.
That would make some sense.
And a 3-1 pitch. Because on the surface, it is a questionable move. I mean, you sit there and you say, well, hold on now. You can put Bader in there and you keep the outfield core intact. You don't have to bring in Payne into the game. But, you know, I thought about it. You know, why was Oquendo racing down? And I think he was trying to get Mike's attention to say, hey, before you make the move officially with the umpire, we got a guy hurt. That would be my guess.
That's about the only logical thing.
Yeah. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and it's a walk. Jose Osuna is 1 for 12 on the homestand. He started the last 2 games at first base. He's got a couple of home runs as a pinch hitter. So runners at first and second. Hicks got the first man. That was Cervelli. Harrison, an infield hit, walk to Jordy Mercer. And now runners at first and second.
You know, Yachty's the one that kind of called this meeting.
Oh yeah.
And get together there. You know, one thing you got to think of an you know, would they bunt here? Trying to get both men in the scoring position and be the second out, but of course Yachty might have a little better scouting report too.
See, Mike Schilt is there. Maybe had already told the umpire about the pitcher's spot coming in for Bader. And we'll find out afterwards. Here's Osuna, and he looks at a strike.
So used to seeing Jordan just fire strikes and very economical.
And it's out of play. '18 marks the 25th anniversary of the movie The Sandlot. Tuesday, August 14th, the Cardinals are celebrating this baseball classic with the purchase of a special themed ticket. Fans can choose between a Cardinals ham bobblehead or a Cardinals squints bobblehead. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/theme. Fowler out with a left foot contusion is the word from the Cardinals. The 1-2 pitch, check swing, and he went. A strikeout on a slider and a nasty one from Jordan Hicks.
Starting to see strikeouts pile up, but that's where he's got to get 2 strikes, and then he can throw that wicked slider. And when you throw as hard as it is, it's really hard. Guys have to start their swing early, and then they can't hold up on that slider.
Runners at first and second. And the batter is Frazier, who is 2 for 4. Doubled into the right field corner, also singled to right, struck out and fly to left center on a good play made on a catch by Tyler O'Neill. Outfield, boy, they're not very deep at all. Base hit, they're coming home. That's Harrison at second base. And the first pitch is strike.
That's where you kind of have an advantage with him. With he doesn't get a lot of fly balls, you know, so in most times they're hitting that sinker on the ground, so they can play a little more shallow. Big gap in left center as Ozuna's near the left field line.
Two and one the count. Harrison, the go-ahead run at second base. It'll find the seats out of play. Cardinals have the top of the lineup looking ahead to the 9th inning in a game in which they have stranded 15. They've out-hit the Pirates 14-11. We're tied 6-6. Conversely, the Pirates have left just 5 on. The 2-2 pitch. Yanked down the right field line, but foul. So he geared up for that fastball. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. Up the middle and a base hit into center. Harrison will score. 7-6.
Third hit for Frazier, just his 11th RBI. Right back up the middle, not particularly hard, but it's not going to get to O'Neill out in center until after the run crosses the plate by Harrison.
Now Starling Marte with 2 outs. And Marte with a fly ball out to right. Munoz is spun around at the wall, and he makes the catch. What a play by Jairo Munoz. What a catch by Munoz in right. that saves a couple of runs.
Him reaching for the wall, but it wasn't there, and when he falls, it looked like he scraped his elbow on the chain link fence, but makes a great catch.
Felipe Vasquez, 24th save on Tuesday night, which tied the club record for most saves in a season by a left-handed pitcher. He's converted 14 consecutive save opportunities. Only 2 runs allowed in his last 20 innings. 1 run in his last 18 games.
He's due. The due factor. Carpenter let off this game with a home run. Been intentionally passed twice and another double.
Jordan Luplow takes over in left.
He was their minor league player of the year a year ago.
98 on the gun from Vasquez and a strike to Carpenter. Carpenter has been on base 4 times. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Remember the last time we saw Vasquez Sunday afternoon, and he gave it up and did not look, at that point it didn't look like he was healthy.
It looked like he had a bad arm.
But this guy is tough. The 1-1. And Carpenter lifts it in the air to center field. Fox Sports Midwest proud to be an official Muni Centennial media partner. The Muni this season, don't miss your chance to see Meet Me in St. Louis on the Muni stage August 4th through the 12th. Purchase tickets, go to themuni.org. And congratulations to the Muni on their 100th season.
And you think of Vasquez, and then you think about mid-season trades, the deadline. They gave up Melanson to Washington, and Vasquez comes here and he's been an all-star ever since. And Melanson didn't stay with Washington. I think he's healthy again for the Giants, but
Johnny Cueto, by the way, is not. He went under the knife with Tommy John surgery for the Giants. 1 ball, 1 strike on Molina. 0 for 5 tonight.
Cardinals have stranded at least 1 runner every inning. 15 on the night.
The 1-1 pitch to Yadier Molina.
I remember we were watching Vasquez in that game. It was in St. Louis, wasn't it? And he was holding his arm after he came out of the game and knocked him out. He was just holding it. He really thought he might have seriously injured it. Apparently not.
Molina, a base hit into right. Well, if you thought about pinch running in this spot, you could do it, but to be the pitcher, and he'd have to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Weaver's Paul DeYoung.
Pinch hit a couple times, or pinch run a couple times, and always says he's an athlete, but I think we'll leave Yadi in there.
DeYoung has singled, hit by a pitch, walked and scored. What has been a wild game here in Pittsburgh. And there's strike one.
All hasn't homered since he's come back. One home run, broke his hand.
That's what's left. The available pitchers for St. Louis. Nothing in two. And the 0-2 pitch to Paul DeYoung. The final hope for the Cardinals, Marcell Ozuna. Couple of fastballs and then the slider.
Really not a very good one either.
Looking for his first hit against this lefty.
Know how he could silence this crowd.
First pitch to Ozuna. Two.
Change-ups.
The 0-2 outside. 100 on the gun.
When you throw 100 miles an hour and you start him off with 3 change-ups. Sometimes you get a little cute. You might have to pay for it.
The 1-2 pitch. Ozuna with a high fly ball into left field. Luplow with the catch, and the Pirates take game 1 of the series. They hold on 7-6. Game in which the Cardinals strand 16.
Yeah, had several opportunities, could have broke it open several opportunities with the bases loaded and couldn't come through. So a tough one for the Cardinals when you leave that many big men on base.
Our Budweiser play of the game against Jordan Hicks. Fought it off in a base hit. Frazier to drive in Harrison. The winning base hit, the winning run. So the Pirates take game 1. And the post-game show is coming up after a hard-fought win for the Pirates. Don't forget, we've got games 2 at 3 on Fox Sports Midwest. Post-game next.